Hello, hello. It's Nicole Moore here, love coach extraordinaire, founder of Love Works, and I help powerful, driven, amazing women who should be with the love of their life find that man so they can create an amazing relationship with him and sometimes even really beautiful love-based families with that man. So the topic of this video is how to attract in the right person for you, how to know if it's the right person for you, how do you actually find someone who is your right match. So very often as women, we are sold this lie that one day the perfect person is just going to land in our lap and then everything will be magical and rainbows and sparkles and all of the past pain and everything we experienced in the past will be redeemed. And here's what I want to tell you about that. That's a lie. So what I believe deeply is that great love doesn't just happen. Great love is created. Now, hear me on this. I don't just mean having a relationship. I don't just mean that there's a man by your side. Not everybody who is in a relationship or has a man by their side is in a great relationship. So I'm not talking about love that's created by default. I'm not talking about love you fell into. I'm talking about love that you created that feels like the most amazing love possible, that makes you feel like you are rich on the inside because you're so full of love. You know, I sent an email out to my email community today, actually, talking about how I'm so excited to help powerful women attract in their man, precisely because so many women who follow me, they also want to have a family. And that's like the missing piece. And they haven't found their man yet. And they know they want to have a family and they don't want to have kids on their own. And they're waiting for that man so they can start. And what I was sharing in that email is you do not just want any man. You want the right man. I mean, this is the man that's going to be the father of your children. This is the man that your children are going to look up to. This is the man that you're going to be with for the rest of your life, because most of the people that follow me do want to be in a committed long-term relationship for the rest of their life. So if you start to think about it in this way, this is the man that's going to be with you for the rest of your life. If you have children, this is the man that your children are going to be looking up to as a father figure. You start to understand how important this person is. The truth is, the person that you choose to be your romantic partner is the most important person in your life. The person you choose to be your romantic partner is the most important person in your life. And the danger is most women are not consciously choosing this person. They think they're choosing because they feel attracted, or they feel chemistry, or they feel a connection. But very often, you're not consciously choosing. You are choosing by default, meaning it's not the highest within you that's attracting in the men. You know this if you're meeting men who have some of what you want, but glaring inconsistencies, glaring commitment issues, or sometimes even abuse. Because you would never create a relationship that felt anything less than amazing if you were creating it from your highest self. But what most people do, most women especially, is they wish and want and hope for the perfect man to fall into their lap, while at the same time attracting from the feeling within them of lack or woundedness. So if you want to be what I call a self-made love millionaire, so that's somebody that did not start off in a loving place in their lives, did not have a lot of great relationships, but just like somebody who's like, you know, I was poor and then I created riches. I'm talking about how to be a self-made love millionaire, where it doesn't matter how poor in love you've been. It doesn't matter how bad your childhood was. It doesn't matter how bad your relationship was. You can rise again from this moment and create riches in your love life just like a self-made millionaire would do. So I'm going to show you how to do that. Well, part of it is choosing the right person to begin with. But how do you choose the right person to begin with when you only have the past experience and it hasn't really been that great, and maybe you haven't seen it at all and your parents didn't have a great relationship? How do you know who's the right person? Well, here's what most women do. They look at how they feel about a man, and they let that be the determiner of if he's a great man or not, really if he's a great partner or not. And a lot of times it's not true. See, what most women have to realize is just because you love a man or you think you love a man does not necessarily mean he's the right match for you. How many of you have been in love or been in a relationship with a man where he is not treating you right, where he's not committed, where maybe he's not faithful, where he's not giving you everything you want and more, but you love him? Oh my God, I love him so much that you stay with him. So a lot of women have to realize that the feeling of love is not always the indication that you should be with the right person. But we see this in like media all the time or in the movies. It's just like that the reason that women choose a man is because they love him. And there's actually a lot more that goes into creating a sustainable long-term relationship with someone who's a really great match for you. So I want to share with you 3 things you should be looking at in terms of, is he the right man for you or not, or attracting in the right man if you're not with him in the first place. So the first question you want to ask yourself is this: can I be more of who I am with this man or less? So as you're dating, as you're going through the relationship with this person, do you feel like this person brings out the best in you, the highest within you, your highest self? Do you feel like every day that passes with this individual, you become more and more of you? Or do you feel like you have to hide who you are to be accepted, that you have to put up a fake front, that you can only say certain things, do certain things, be certain things, or that person isn't going to love and approve of you? So of course, in order to have a relationship where somebody brings out the highest within you, you have to know what that is first. You have to understand what that is first. You have to be self-realized first. Because the danger is, if you do not know who you are as a woman, if you're not celebrating who you are as a woman, if you don't see yourself as this ultimate goddess that's worthy of worship, what you're going to do is, wherever you feel lacking, wherever you feel insecure, you're going to go look for a man to fill that place for you. And all you ever do when you're in that place of, I'm lacking, I'm poor in love, so I'm not a love millionaire, I feel very poor in love on the inside, you only ever attract somebody who feels that way too. Now, he might not look that way, right? Like if you're with a narcissist, for example, like I was, they might present as confident, maybe even loving, but at their core, they're really lacking in love, right? Or those men who are non-committal, they're not bad men, they're just afraid of love, meaning the closer they get to love, it's just illuminating the lack of love that they have within. And instead of stepping forward into the love with you, they pull back. So in order to attract in the right match, you have to know who you are, but more than that, you have to value who you are so much so that you're willing to say in every instance with a man, I'd rather lose him than lose me. I'd rather lose him than lose me. So when I realized this in my own love life, everything changed. I can remember the moment where that way of being, that phrase, it dropped into my system. It was such freedom when I realized, wow, my job in romantic relationships is to keep on being me, keep on loving me, keep on being the most me, really me, not the fear-based me. I mean, the powerful me, the highest self me, the most aligned me, not the insecure me, not the not good enough me, not that, right? But my job in a romantic relationship is to be me so much so and own who I am so much that I attract in someone who's right for me. So before, when I didn't believe that, and when I didn't even have this awareness of I would rather lose him than lose me, what I was doing was constantly losing me. So I was the woman who would lose myself in the relationship. I was the woman who would not work out, not do I need to do for me, change my entire schedule around, change like work, change everything to be with him. I didn't have a solid sense of self. And so what was happening was I didn't feel solid within me. I didn't feel good within me. When I was by myself with no one else around, there were bad thoughts in here. There were negative thoughts in my head. There were self-critical thoughts in my head. So when I was by myself, it didn't really feel good. It didn't really feel loving. And so from that space of being poor, of love within me, what I did was I tried to find somebody outside of me that would make me feel better. That's a dangerous game, ladies. It's a dangerous game if you date from the place of, I don't feel good within me, and I'm going to try and find a man on the outside to make me feel better. Let me just tell you right now, it doesn't work. It never works. You know it doesn't work, don't you? You actually know from your life experience already that that doesn't work. But that's what I used to do all day long. I didn't feel good with me, so I would try and get men to make me feel better. And so I became addicted to being around them, addicted to giving up myself to be with them, because at the time I really thought that their attention, their love, their approval was better than me being with me. And so you do want to find somebody in a romantic relationship that allows you to be more of you. That's like number one. If you're in a relationship with someone where you feel like you cannot be the real you, they do not accept the real you, they maybe even sometimes even hate the real you or criticize the real you, that is a red flag. That's a relationship that you need to have a conversation with that person to see if they can move past that, or you need to leave that relationship. Because in order to stay in a relationship like that, you have to give up who you are. You have to deny your own soul. And that could never be a relationship that would work. So when you start to do the work to really love yourself, meaning when you're by yourself, are the thoughts in your head towards yourself loving? When you make a mistake, are the thoughts in your head towards yourself loving? When you look in the mirror, are the thoughts in your head towards yourself loving? When you think about your dating life, are the thoughts in your head towards yourself loving? When you get to the place where when you're by yourself, there's love within you. You can get to the place where you would really, truly not want to be anyone else. And this is from me, somebody who thought, I used to think, I'm not meant to be on this planet. Like, I'm this weirdo. I don't understand how to live. I don't want to be me. I used to be there. I used to live there. I used to want to crawl out of my skin because I hated myself that much. I felt so uncomfortable just being in my own skin that sometimes I would just like wish that I could crawl out of myself, right? But when you get to that place of being rich with love on the inside and you realize there's nowhere else that I'd rather be than with me, you can get to the place of I'd rather lose him than lose me. And then you're a powerful woman because you will not change who you are fundamentally for a man. So I remember when I got this, there was lots of realizations along the way, but one of them I realized, and I've shared this before, so you might have heard it, is when I realized I'm an espresso. I'm not a caramel latte. And what I meant by that was I really used to think that I had to be like super bubbly or talkative or like some other version of me. It's not even me, that's not me. The real me is depth. The real me is introversion. The real me is somebody who just loves nothing more than to curl up in the bath with a book. Like, that's who I am at my core. If I go out like to an event or whatever, I'm not the person that's the loudest in the room. I usually just kind of like hang back and I just set the intention to attract all the cool people to me. But I'm not like this super bubbly person. I'm depth, right? So once I realized, oh, why am I thinking I have to be something else to attract and love? Why would I think that I had to change who I am to attract love? And what's the message that I'm sending to myself? If I'm thinking I have to be something other than I'm not to attract and love. From that place, could I ever really attract and great love? No. So if you're thinking right now, you have to change who you are. I'm not talking about getting rid of your insecurity or getting rid of your over-texting men, or I'm not talking about the behavior that comes actually from fear. I'm talking about if you think you have to change your personality, who you really are, who you fundamentally are, to win love, prove love, get love. I'm here to tell you, you're never going to attract the right person from that place because the underlying energy is low self-worth. The underlying energy is poverty. And we all know what happens to poor people who win the lottery. They go back to poverty, right? So you want to attract in someone who in their presence, you can be more of you. So like when I met my husband, Mike, he's very intense. And so I remember we had this moment, like I think it was on our second date, where it was just like, oh, wow, like you're intense like me, I'm intense like you, like we can be intense together and it's celebrated. And, I can be exactly who I am with him in every single moment, bar none. I do not have to hide any of who I am. I can say exactly what I want to say. I can be exactly how I want to be. Literally, I couldn't even imagine a moment where I even have the thought of not sharing with him entirely who I am and what I'm thinking and what I'm feeling and my dreams and everything. I literally share everything with this man. And I'm talking everything. I remember when we first started dating, at that time I had always been working on my emotional fitness, but I was like on this mission to let like all of my feelings out and really feel them. And I remember like I'd be frustrated by something that happened and I would just do a tantrum in front of him. I would say, like, listen, I have to release my emotions right now. I feel like doing a tantrum. And I would like throw myself on the ground and go, ah! Like stomp around. And he loved it. He didn't judge me. He loved it because he's a match for me. So I want you to think about how much of you have you really been in past relationships, and have you ever actually shown your full self to a man? Have you ever felt safe enough with a man that you could reveal all of you, even the parts that you think are bad, and he would love and accept you? Because in that kind of relationship, you grow into your highest self. In that kind of relationship, you keep on evolving and evolving. So of course, to even get there in the first place, you've got to be rich in self-love. You've got to be owning who you are. You've got to love yourself so much that you really do say, I'd rather lose him than lose me. So I know in this moment, my job is to be me and then see if he can accept me or not. It's the total opposite flip of what we are trained to believe as women, which is that we have to be pleasing and accommodating and somehow figure out how to be what a man wants so he chooses us. It's the wrong way to be, you guys. The right way to be is we have to be pleased by ourselves and only accept in a man who loves us as we already are. Now, again, I'm not talking about your fear-based patterns and the insecurities and the stuff that you know. It's not you. It's your fear-based you. That doesn't work in any relationship, okay? I'm talking about the real you. So here's number 2 way to tell if you're with the right person for you. It's, do you feel good with that person when you're just doing nothing? When you're just doing nothing, does it feel good? When you're at the grocery store, when you're just hanging out, when you have idle moments, does it feel good? See, a lot of women, they're so addicted to chemistry and drama that they really only feel good in a relationship when a guy is push-pull, not giving them what they want. They get this feeling, they think that that means it's a good relationship. Again, what I said at the beginning of the video was a lot of women get confused thinking that how they feel about a guy means that he's a good match for them. That's not always the case, especially for women. A lot of women think that feeling chemistry for a man, or, oh my God, Nicole, I feel such a connection with him, you don't understand. Oh my God, it's such a connection, right? Like I've heard that a million times. They think that that feeling of connection or that feeling of chemistry means he's a good match for me. And they very often ignore his behaviors and what's really going on. So do you feel good independent of the drama? Do you feel good just being together? Does it feel like, you know, when you're together, like there's no real reason to feel this way, but it just feels really good? Or is the condition of you feeling good in the relationship the drama, the push-pull, the he's not really showing up for me and I feel like I have to like win and prove his love and try and get it, and that's why I feel so addicted? So I want you to hear me on this. The condition of love is peace. The condition of love is peace. So Alana, if you have a question about Get and Keep Your Man, send me an email at nicole@loveworksmethod.com, and then I can send you the info and connect you with somebody who can walk you through all of that, okay? It's an invitation-only program, meaning like you got to talk to me or one of my coaches to make sure you're a fit, so that's why I want you to go that route. So send an email to nicole@loveworksmethod.com. Okay, anyway, on with the show. So, drama is not love. Push-pull is not love. Instability and not knowing where you stand with a man is not love. Having to try and make a man do X, Y, Z to the point where even if you ask him, even if you show him, this is exactly how I need to be treated, he still doesn't do it, or he forgets, or he says like, that's not who I am. That's not love. So too many women confuse the anxiety of not knowing where they stand with a man with love. Too many women confuse some presence mixed with a lot of absence with love. Too many women confuse the feeling of being addicted to the lack, to what they don't have with a man as love. Because women do this crazy thing where we make up relationships with men in our mind. And so what I mean by this is we will have a relationship with a man that is literally a little bit of attention from him, a little bit of a good time with him, and then a lot of absence, criticism, unavailability, cheating, you name it. And what we will do is this crazy thing where we only focus on what we think is the good connection with him. And we decide, because we feel this way about him, because you don't even understand, Nicole, I just feel such a connection with him, right? Because we feel that connection. Can you tell that I'm making fun of this in an attempt to make you realize that it's not real? We feel the connection with him. And then we create a relationship with him based on this feeling. Meanwhile, he's not even acting in accordance with how we feel, but we just create a relationship with how we feel about him plus what we make up in our mind about him. Most women are doing this. They are having a relationship that's a fake relationship. It's how I feel about him in the rare times that he's good, or if it's not, he's not great, like 95 to 99% of the time, why are you with him? Why? Right? So some women, it'll be 10% great, or 20% great, or 30% great. Even 50% great is not good enough. So we have the times that we feel good with him, and then we go and make up stories in our head about him. We go and fantasize about him. We go and obsess about him, and we couple our feeling about him when he's good, let's just say 50% of the time or less, mixed with our feeling that we get by obsessing about him. Because women, when we obsess about a guy, we get a good feeling. That's why we get addicted. So we think that what we're really getting from him is like 100%. But most of the time, it's just the 50% or less that he's good, plus the percentage of time that we're obsessing about him or analyzing about him or playing over like the one good conversation that we have with him over and over and over again. And then we feel like he's a good guy based on that, but he's not even really a good guy. I've had clients that are obsessed with men that maybe they went out with for 3 months or less, or maybe it was more. But when we really get into it, I'm like, why are you so obsessed? Why are you so obsessed? And they'll put this guy on a pedestal as if he's the perfect man and I'll never meet anyone like him. It's like, you know what? Like, he was really intelligent and I could just really, he was on my level of intelligence and he was really witty. Or we could really talk about business. We're on the phone for 5 hours talking about business. And it's like they have one thing really that they think that they can't get anywhere else. And they feel the connection of that, plus all the time they're fantasizing about him. And then all of a sudden, he's the most amazing man in the world. But then if you ask them, is he showing up? Is he consistent? Is he available? They'll say no. But they're ignoring that because they think they feel a connection. So if you're doing this, what I want you to hear me is this. Your connection is largely fake. It's the feeling or feelings that you have when you obsess about him in your mind, not what's actually happening in reality. So I know this because I was in a relationship like this, right? Where I thought I was with my soulmate and I would think about the good times that we had. It's not that there weren't any good times, right? I would think about the good times that we had and I would project that into the future. And I was like having a relationship in my head about how this is my soulmate, but the actions were not aligned with that, like cheating, for example, or lying. But I just had this relationship with him in my head that was not really what was happening. And I was addicted to that relationship with him in my head, not reality. So the number 2 way, really, I said it's do you feel good with him when you're doing nothing, but I kind of went into a different point. It's what is he really bringing? And do you feel good with what he's really bringing? And if you were to detach from your mental relationship with him, meaning how you're fantasizing about him, if you think about him all the time and it feels so good, what's actually happening in reality? Is he actually treating you as a goddess? Is he actually showing up for you? Is he actually giving you the things that you want to need? Or is this a relationship that you've created based on obsessing about him and thinking about him a lot? And you get a good feeling when you do that. You get a good feeling when you think about him and obsess about him. So you've decided this must be love and this must be the best relationship that I could have. And I'm here to tell you, if you're doing that, it's not. And what you want to do is detach from the fantasy and look at reality and ask yourself this question: with what he's truly bringing me, okay, the good and the bad, is this what I would really choose? If I knew I could have anything, if I knew I could have it all, with what he's actually bringing me, not the fantasy I've created in my mind, would this be what I would choose? Now, the caveat with this is if you're a woman who has attracted an unavailable man over and over and over again, you at the beginning will probably not feel satisfied with a stable attachment style, secure man, and you'll make up in your mind that you're bored with him, that he's not a good match. So if that's you, you should probably give that stable guy who you're attracted to, that has the things that you want, but you're like, I don't know, I just don't feel excited about him. You should give that guy a little bit more time, because my women who are the crazy town drama queen archetype, if you don't know what that is, go to LoveWorks podcast on iTunes, listen to the crazy town drama queen archetype. I guarantee it'll blow your mind, change your life. You'll see I understand you better than pretty much almost anybody else could. If you're that archetype, what I have to say with you on this is you are accustomed to drama and chemistry and connection and thinking that that is a good match for you. So when you meet someone who is attractive, if he's not attractive, I'm not talking about being attractive, being with someone who's not attractive. I'm talking about sometimes my crazy town drama queen archetypes, they start to heal themselves. They attract in a guy who's actually stable and secure. He's attractive and he has what they want, and they're like, I don't know, I just don't feel the same connection that I did with the unavailable man. Usually those women, I'm like, let's give him a little bit more time, because it may just be that you're so addicted to the old pattern that you can't actually see the goodness in front of you, okay? But here's the third way you can tell if he's right for you. And I really kind of said this in the second one. It's, do you like him? Not just love. Do you like him? How he's showing up as a person, how he treats other people, how he is in his life. Again, too many women go off of what they feel is a connection with the man, and they actually ignore reality and who this man is. Do you like him as a person? Because in my experience, like is more important than love. Now, you obviously have to have love. You have to have both. But you want to have a high degree of like for this man. You respect who he is. You like how he shows up with you and other people. This is somebody you would want to be friends with. If you have that like factor and then you have the love factor, that makes a really great relationship. So again, women can get confused because they're like, I have so much chemistry with him. But then if you look at it, they don't really actually like how the guy is showing up. If that's you, it might not be the right relationship. So again, the condition of love is peace. A real relationship with the right man brings you peace. Now, peace is not boringness. Peace is, I feel secure. I feel safe. I can be all of me in this relationship, and I can accept all of him. And there's this foundation of security and peace and love. But again, the second point is important. It's not about being bored with someone. It's, do you have the security and the peace and that stable foundation? But then no matter what you're doing, it's fun. You know, Mike and I, we were with, our son Luke, obviously, because we're always with him on the weekends, especially. And we went and we brought Luke to the fountains because it's really hot in San Diego right now. And we're just like standing watching Luke in the fountain, and he's like running in, he's playing. And it was just a beautiful moment. Like if you really were to say, hey, Nicole, what did you do this weekend? I'd be like, I got up, I read a little bit. I had a client call on Saturday, which I normally don't do, but I was making an exception for a Love Elite private client. I got up, I had a client call, which was amazing. By the way, Love Elite, we have a couple of spots open for my private coaching. So if you want private time with me, now is the time. It's almost never available. And then Luke woke up from his nap, and then we went out to lunch, and then, we just kind of we went to the fountain. Nothing crazy happened. Nothing out of the ordinary happened. Nothing highly dramatic happened. But I just felt like it was the most incredible weekend because I was with my family. I was with people that I really love. And I don't know, it's just fun. It's just somehow fun. Even if we're doing nothing, it's somehow fun. And to me, that's a really big key in relationship. Is it just fun? Is the foundation fun? And I don't mean drama. I really don't mean push-pull. Too many women, they get bored if there's no, if they know that they can have the man, they get bored. And too many women think that stability and dependability and boringness, they have to trade that. It's I can either be with a stable, boring, dependable guy, or I can be with a guy who excites me, but he's not available or he's not fully committed. And that's in a totally different realm that I'm talking about. What I want you to have is a relationship that has a foundation of peace and stability, yes, but that is exciting, not from drama, but just because you're with someone who's a really good match for you, and you can be all of who you are, and you love all of who he is, and you get to grow together. Me and Mike, we do visioning together. We expand together. We're going to go to the Amalfi Coast in Paris. That was my idea, I wanted a European vacation, but he's all for it. But we expand together. So it's we're stable in our relationship, and then we can go out and do life together and grow. And too many women are in relationships where it's the relationship is the least stable thing in their life. Do you know how crazy that is? Do you understand how crazy that is? That your romantic relationship is the least stable thing in your life? This is true especially for powerful women, business women, where it's you're a badass everywhere else, but then somehow in your relationship, you allow instability, not being treated right, not fully getting what you want. And your relationship is the most important thing in your life. It is. That's just the truth. The man who you choose to be with, that's the most important person in your life. It really is, in so many ways, the foundation of your life. It's not your entire life, and you shouldn't just be a woman who's obsessed with your relationship and not have anything else. But if you get down to it, the relationship is the most important thing in your life. So it does matter who you choose. It matters tremendously who you attract, especially if you're a single woman who hasn't found your man yet and you want to start a family. I really want you to be thinking about what part of me am I choosing from? Am I choosing a man from the worth within me and from the part of me that believes and from my highest self? Or am I, and have I been choosing a man from my insecurity, from my lack, from my wounding, from my inner little girl who doesn't really have great beliefs about love? Because it matters what place inside of you choose a man from. It matters if you choose a man from a place of lack, poverty, of love on the inside, or from a place of richness on the inside. So if you're already with someone, there are still ways within that relationship to see if you get empowered, if you show up, can you get the most from him? I've helped women literally whose men have broken up with them, get that man back, and then that man proposes. So if you're if you're in a relationship, if he's a good guy, if he's a douchebag or a cheater, abuser, love avoidant, I really don't know if we can help. Meaning help you create amazing love with him. I can help you find someone else. But if he's that far gone, your better bet might be leaving. But if you don't know, there's a lot you can do if you get empowered to shift the dynamic to get what you want. And if you're single, the most important thing you could do is learn how to be the woman who's actually a match for your man, how to have it within so you attract it on the outside. So with that being said, we do have a free gift here. If you haven't seen it in my link, grab the video now on how to attract the right man for you without wasting time or dating around. In there, I share more about my process for showing you how to attract the right man. It's a totally free video, and I'll give you some tips on, dating for growth and other things that I teach to women to attract in the right man. So if you're looking to attract in, go grab that now. I want to hear your comments. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you got out of this video. Let me know any aha moments. And if you need help and support with your love life, type a question in, type a comment, either me or my team. We will do our best to support you and help you. But bottom line is, ladies, I want you choosing the right man for you, because it is the most important person in your life. Your man, your romantic partner, that's the most important person in your life. That's the person that's there every day, even after, you have children. That's the person you're going to be with day in and day out for the rest of your life if you choose to get married. So it matters who you choose, and you want to be choosing someone good, and you want to be choosing someone who's actually a match, not someone you have a connection with and chemistry with, but who isn't treating you right, because you do deserve to have it all.